it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, March 1st. So welcome to March. If you haven't listened to March Energy's forecast, please go ahead and do so. If you haven't downloaded your zodiac forecast, you should probably do that as well. You can download them individually from my website, or you can jump over to Patreon and access all 12. The fact that we are entering into the busiest, most pivotal month that we got going on here for a while, for a very long time to be exact. We will be looking back on March 2023 in our history. Because it is going to be an absolute game changer. What we have going on here, we're kicking it off on a Wednesday, which is Mercury ruled, which does suggest that there's going to be a huge amount of details and information coming at us this month that is totally going to change our understanding, our perception of events gone by, change our perspective of our current situation, and of course, our path moving forward. Now, the fact that we have the moon in its place of power in Cancer energy on this very first day of March kind of suggests that, emotionally speaking, a lot of the information that is coming in is not only going to change the way that we feel, but going to change the foundations of our lives as we know it, especially where our home and our family is concerned, the foundation of our environment. We're definitely getting rocked this month in order to illuminate the systems, the foundations, the structures that are not strong enough to continue to house the kind of energy, the dream, the vision that we will be building and focusing on, not only through March, but through this next chapter. So we have a lot going on. I dive into a little bit more depth about it in the March energy forecast. And of course, you can check out the great grand big picture of the astrology by listening to the 2023 energy forecast that I put out there, breaking down all the months of this year. So there's definitely a lot of information to unpack. Today is also the last day that Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, ruler over Wednesdays, is going to be in Aquarius energy, that high level intellect, that observer mentality, that progressive rebellion, independent energy that just has had our minds popping off with multiple windows, multiple ideas, multiple perspectives. We will see that kind of pressure kind of alleviate from our headspace as Mercury will move into Pisces. And of course, we do a deeper dive into the emotional and spiritual realm. So we're definitely going to give that mental plane just a little break. There are 5 different aspects here today. Super quiet day in the cosmos. 4 of them involve the moon. And what I would say is that this low, slow, astrological day is essentially the calm before the storm. We have a lot popping off at us over this next couple of weeks. And what I would also say, Thursday is going to be a super busy day in the cosmos, followed by 2 very busy days in the cosmos moving into the weekend. So enjoy the, I'm going to say, quietness, although there's probably going to be lots of activity in our physical realms. Enjoy the astrological quietness of the day because we are moving into some very busy, very chaotic astrological times. So the moon is going to sextile the true note, and this is a beautiful energy. This is definitely going to illuminate for us where it is that we have to take better care of ourselves, where we have to move forward on the path that we need to be on, but we also have to consider where it is that we have to boss up a little bit and actually be a little bit stronger in nurturing and nourishing ourselves like we so easily do for other people. The moon in Cancer is very connected to the home, very connected to the family, also very connected to the past. And so to have this sextile, which is a beautiful harmonization of these energies with the true node, which is our soul's path, our destiny point, it is very reassuring that we aren't looking back with this particular aspect. We're actually looking forward and we're figuring out what it is that we need to do to provide ourselves with safety, security, stability, not only in our physical realms, not only in our home and our family dynamic, but emotionally speaking as well. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, in Aries energy is going to be popping off and making a beautiful aspect with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is in Capricorn energy. Now, this is an interesting dynamic because we had Venus and Pluto kind of open 2023 up to us. They had some very powerful aspects at the very beginning of the year. Of course, Venus rules over 2023 as it is the vibration of 7. And this is an empowerment energy. This is like boosting us up, making us get very real with what it is that we need to be accountable with as far as our feelings go, with what it is that we're wanting for ourselves, really voicing our wants, needs, and desires, especially within our personal relationship. And there's a huge expansion taking place with what it is that we're feeling, what it is that we want, what we need, what we deserve, and what we desire. This is going to be a good day, let's say. We could be in the right place at the right time to make some very important connections, either with people or put us in situations where we can kind of pursue our goals and make some beautiful opportunities happen. The moon will trine the sun. This is a beautiful energy. We get some water on water action here. The moon, of course, in Cancer energy. The sun, of course, in Pisces energy. Cancer and Pisces energy, both water signs, sister water signs to each other. Typically speaking, when the moon and the sun come together, there's an overlap. The moon, typically speaking, wants us to look back in the past. The sun wants us to look forward into the future. Now, the sun shining a bright light in this Pisces energy is about healing, is about what needs to end in order for new beginnings to take place. It is about our creative ideas, our dreams, our visions. And the moon in Cancer, although looking back, is a little bit more present than normal because we're starting to figure out that we have to build a little bit more safety, security, and stability, not only in our physical realms, but within us, in our emotions. We're trying to stabilize our emotions. And so what we get here is like this overlap where it leaves us in this present moment of understanding what it is that needs to be addressed, what it is that needs to be cleansed as far as our emotional baggage goes. Again, we're in the very last chapter of this old calendar. We need to move through Pisces energy, understanding that we need to be kind of cracked open in order to illuminate where the heavier thoughts and emotions still reside within us. This is a purification stage, a recalibration, realignment stage, so that we're entering into Aries season, the brand new astrological calendar, as light as possible. The moon will go ahead and square both Venus and Jupiter. Now, Venus and Jupiter will be making an aspect early Thursday morning that I'm sure if you're following like the New Age or spiritual communities online or like astrology profiles online, you'll be hearing all about how Venus and Jupiter are making a very positive aspect and how it's all supposed to be light and fluffy and how there's a lot of hopefulness and there's a lot of, healing and there's a lot of benefit of the doubt and there's a lot of abundance. Yes, all of those things are quite possible, except the part that they're leaving out in this New Age spiritual community, like, typically speaking, is the darker shadow parts of what these particular aspects mean. And they're forgetting that Chiron, the wounded healer, is sitting very closely to both Venus and Jupiter in this Aries energy, which is the wounded healer. So to me, I look at it like there's going to be huge heart activations. Yes, it can eventually lead to a whole lot of healing, a whole lot of growth, but we have to kind of acknowledge where the heavier emotions are being triggered and activated in order to bring them into our awareness so that we can process them, sort through them, release them, purge them, purify them as we enter into the new calendar. What people also seem to leave out is the fact that we have both Saturn, the Lord of Karma, and Pluto, the great transformer himself, both at a 29 degree. That's a critical crisis degree, my friends. This is a heavy weight. And if I was to smush Venus and Jupiter and Chiron and factor in Saturn and Pluto all into the mix, I'm not seeing the light and fluffy abundance type of vibes that everybody wants to talk about with Venus and Jupiter. What I'm seeing here is a major point of change, a major point of karma that happens through dealing with the very heavy emotions, karmically speaking, that we have been bearing. And of course, Saturn is preparing to move into Pisces energy and really wrap up the last 4 or 5 years that he's been in his place of power, both in Capricorn and Aquarius energy. And Pluto, of course, he's ready to move out of Capricorn energy and move into Aquarius energy. And he's been in Capricorn energy since 2008. So to me, we see a lot of death, a lot of destruction coming from Pluto. especially where the systems, foundations, and structures in our lives are concerned, Saturn energy. And this is definitely going to have a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a hurt, if you will, Chiron, wounded healer, to the heart space, which is Venus. And you best believe that it's going to be magnified. The volume is going to be all the way up. It's going to be intense because Jupiter is here. He's about growth and expansion. So yes, we're definitely in a position where we can tap into some beautiful healing energies. But again, healing comes when you feel it. And sometimes you have to feel the intensity, the pain, the sadness, the grief, the not so good thoughts, the not so good feelings in order for a true transformation to actually take place. So the moon squaring off with Venus and squaring off with Jupiter is not going to feel good. We are at odds with what it is that we want to pursue. We don't know what it is that's going to make us happy right now because everything seems to be kind of tossed up in the air. Because this square is involving Jupiter as well, we're getting into the boxing ring with our heart space. And that's that Venus energy just kind of showing us that we have to get real with what we want in life. What and who is going to make us happy, bring us joy, really create a sense of pleasure in our lives, and who and what is not. And the moon kind of squaring off with Jupiter is just turning the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And in a square, we're not thinking and feeling all of the good things. We're feeling the not so nice parts of it. We're feeling insecure. We're feeling unstable. We are a little bit passive aggressive, highly defensive, super protective. We're not in the best frame of mind. And so it does bewilder me sometimes when I see the hype around certain aspects that they're only concentrating on two planets making this aspect when you have to look at astrology as the big picture and all the knobs kind of being fine-tuned into particular energies and what that vibration and frequency would actually sound like if it could create sound. And from my point of view, I think that this Venus and Jupiter aspect, if it was an isolated event with no other planets at critical degrees, yes, we could be in for a huge point of manifestation, of all the good feels, of just being in love with love and seeing a huge amount of growth and seeing a huge amount of change take place in our lives. That's all happy-go-lucky. However, with the other aspects taking place, I am leaning more towards the side of us having major weight be felt in our heart space, in our head space, in the circumstances of our lives. I feel like we need to be going through it right now in order for us to have a breakdown, to be cracked open in all the right ways, to have a breakthrough, to repair our heart space. And again, the whole mission here is the light and the load, to purify ourselves in these last weeks of this old astrological calendar so that we can be as light and fluffy as possible moving into the new astrological calendar when Aries season begins.